Honestly, we don't think the 2024 BMW M2 is a generally excellent-looking vehicle. With odd, blocky styling themes front and center and in back, it actually makes us recoil a little every time we see one. As we've been told to never make a judgment prematurely, incidentally, the M2 is a genuine exciting read. The BMW M2 is the superior exhibition rendition of the supporting 2 Series, a reduced extravagant sport car that tosses back to when BMW made intense little pugilists as its center vehicles. As jostling as the outside styling might be to us, no part of that matters when we're in the driver's seat. The M2 is basically perhaps of the most captivating and engaging vehicle you can get at any cost. Here and there, it feels like you're wearing it as opposed to driving it. As anyone might expect, the M2 comes up short with regards to common sense. It's ideal to consider it a 2-seater with a back freight rack. However, when absolutely necessary, the restricted back seats prove to be useful for brief excursions. In a class where a few opponents don't have back situates, this is genuinely trivial. Discussing rivals, the M2 has a few serious ones. The Audi RS3 is the most immediate contender with its unruly 5-chamber motor and all-wheel drive. Our greatest problem with the Audi is the absence of a manual transmission. However, we're certain some seat time would make it simple to move past that. There's additionally the Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.0, which is maybe quite possibly of the best game vehicles on special today, yet its mid-motor design makes it even less down-to-earth than the BMW M2. The Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45 is a more edified, rich other option. The uplifting news is, there's not a terrible decision in this gathering. Indeed, one could have a presentation advantage on a circuit. However, in the event that you're not dashing for cash, you should get the one that makes you the most joyful. With a manual transmission, that could possibly be the 2024 BMW M2. The 2024 BMW M2 is a driver's vehicle totally, with an overabundance of force and insidiously engaging taken care of. Not many vehicles are as drawing in and inspiring. The BMW M2 gets back with no tremendous changes for 2024. The 2024 BMW M2 is controlled by a 3.0-liter turbocharged 6-chamber motor that produces 453 pull and 406 pound-feet of force. The standard transmission is an 8-speed program that drives the back tires just, yet a 6-speed manual is accessible at no extra expense. BMW gauges the M2 will advance to 60 mph in 3.9 in the event that you settle on the program transmission. The manual is supposed to trail somewhat at 4.1 seconds. Maximum velocity is restricted at 155 mph and, however, the discretionary M Drivers bundle expands that to 177 mph. Taking into account how generally welcome at the past age BMW M2 was, assumptions are naturally high for this new model. We don't expect a critical improvement in execution since the 48 each AP increment is counterbalanced by an extra 200 pounds this year. We in all actuality do guess that the ride quality will be perceptibly stiffer than in the more ordinary 2 Series, however not really as to be hazardous. The manual transmission's grip is not difficult to work for smooth or forceful send-offs and has a proper measure of exertion for a game roadster. However, that weighty grasp can be tiring in heavily congested rush-hour gridlock. We like the stick shift for its uplifted driver commitment, despite the fact that we're very much aware it's increasingly slow effective than the programmed. We likewise propose that customers verify whether the game seats give sufficient space to change into second gear without slamming an elbow against the seat support. Under hard speed increase, the M2 stays ready and truly controllable. However, the motor doesn't sound very as fierce as we'd like. The brakes impart a lot of certainty, and in any event, when rebuffed, we felt no debasement in their viability. These brakes are additionally polite in regular driving circumstances, without the grabbiness or screeching you could incite in different games vehicles. dealing with is amazingly great. There's a lot of grass from the tacky Michelin Pilot Game 4S tires, and the fast directing feels like it's wired squarely into your cerebrum. There's very little input through the wheel, but rather that is normal for practically any new vehicle. On a contorting mountain pass, the M2 is both a serious entertainer and a perky partner. The Ecological Security Organization gauges the 2024 BMW M2 with the manual transmission will return 16 mpg in city driving and 24 mpg on the expressway, 20 mpg joined. The programmed transmission drops the roadway gauge to 23 mpg. These evaluations are practically identical to those of the Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.0, yet the Audi RS3 and Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45 are appraised at 23 mpg in consolidated driving. The 2024 M2's inside imparts a portion of essential design to the 2 Series. It depends on yet consolidates BMW's most current double-screen show for the instrument board and infotainment touchscreen. It's not as richly coordinated into the scramble as in its ancestor. However, the bigger showcase is simpler to peruse and gives the cockpit a more tech-forward appearance. The front game seats are cozy and can be keeping for bigger occupa. The 2024 M2 accompanies the most up-to-date adaptation of BMW's iDrive infotainment framework, yet it's not so much convoluted, but rather more natural than in some other BMW models. All things considered, there are a ton of menus and settings to fight with, and it very well may plague. We in all actuality do appreciate that the essential environment controls stay at the lower part of the touchscreen for simple and reliable use. With the incorporation of over-the-air programming refreshes, the framework will proceed to improve, and clients will actually want to include sometime later. Chances are, most clients will favor utilizing their telephones with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which are both norm. The huge 14.9-inch touchscreen makes activity a piece simpler with its sharp designs. A Harman Kardon Encompass sound framework is normally a discretionary redesign in other BMWs, yet it's norm with the M2. The Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45 gets a standard 10.25-inch infotainment screen, and the Porsche Cayman manages with a 7-inch display. .ETOs, in addition to their odd focus bump, is a superfluous snag while getting in or out. The past back seats were excessively confined for grown-ups, and the new M2 offers even less headroom than previously. It's smarter to consider those seats a rack for freight flood. The storage compartment can hold up to 13.8 cubic feet of freight, which is equivalent to the past age. That is more than the Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45, 11.6 cubic feet, and Audi RS3, 11.3 cubic feet. Yet not exactly the consolidated limit of the Porsche Cayman's front and back trunks, 14.7 cubic feet. Crash test results for the 2024 BMW M2 are not accessible from the Public Parkway Traffic Wellbeing Organization, NHTSA, or the Protection Foundation for Thruway Security, IIHS, which is commonplace for the majority extravagant sports vehicles. The M2 comes standard with front-facing crash relief, path takeoff cautioning, a vulnerable side screen, and front and back stopping sensors. Versatile headlights, programmed high shafts, versatile journey control, a head-up show, and a semi-robotized stopping framework are optional. There aren't many opponents to the 2024 BMW M2. However, we count the Audi RS3 as its most immediate rival. The RS3 costs $2,000 or $3,000, not exactly the M2, and comes standard with all-wheel drive. Yet its 401 torque yield misses the mark concerning the BMW's 453 HP. It's an exceptionally close fight between the two, and you can't turn out badly with by the same token. The RS3 sounds considerably more forceful with its surprising 5-chamber snarl and has astonishing hold thanks to standard all-wheel drive. Yet unfortunately, it's not accessible with a manual transmission. The Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 45 is to a greater degree an energetic extravagance vehicle rather than a genuine games vehicle, yet it actually conveys more than adequate fervor for most drivers. For the individuals who are more focused on execution, the Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.E expenses about $25,000 more than the M2 and would probably dominate it on a circuit. Right?